Hi everybody. If you read today's article in the Windsor Star, I talked about the best workout in the universe. These are 4 basic movements that have been around throughout the ages, and they're something everyone can start doing right away. So without any further ado, I will get started. Okay, so the first movement is called the squat. Really simple, everyone's seen this movement. It's a great exercise for your lower body. You can increase your heart rate a little bit, and just a great total body exercise, okay? So I'm going to start with an exercise that would be fairly simple, and then I'm going to move over to a modification to make it a little bit easier. If you want to make these harder, you really should talk to a fitness professional about that, okay? So our first one, the squat, basically we're going to have our legs about hip width, we're going to have our arms across our chest. Some people like to have their hands out front. For today, I'm just going to keep my arms across, and what I want to do is focus on sitting back with my bum, and come down as far as I comfortably can, and then I'm going to push back up. And I'm going to repeat this 12 to 15 times. The main things that I'm looking for when we're watching clients do this are that the chest is up nice and tall, eyes are looking straight ahead, and the knees are not crossing the front of the toes. So I'm going to turn to the side, and you can see that I'm going to lean back with my bum first, come down as far as I can, and then come back up. The mistakes that we see are 2, I'll show you. What we don't want to see is leaning forward too much in the upper body, and we don't want to see the knees leading first. So the knees are coming past the front of the toes. We always want to sit back like we're sitting into a chair first. If it's your first time doing these, you might only come down a third of the way. That's fine. If even that is too difficult for you, you can start by doing this on the wall. Again, feet set up is exactly the same. Just slowly inch your way down and come back up. If you're on a nice smooth wall, you roll up and down, nice and easy. Same guidelines, chest up nice and tall, knees should not cross the front of the toes. Okay? That's the squat. Great exercise. Next, we're going to look at the push-up. I'm going to start with a fairly basic way to do the push-up from your knees. You're going to reach out as far as you can in front of you, and then you're going to lean forward so your shoulders are directly above your hands. And from here, you're going to lean down as far as you can and push back up. So if your nose is about 2 inches above the ground, that's normally pretty good. And you're going to do this as well 12 to 15 times. The main mistakes we see with this are 2. Sometimes people will lean too much with their neck, and that's normally because they're lacking in upper body strength. So we want the chest to lead, the neck should always stay in line with your back like this. So we don't want to see this. And then the last one is, again, if there's not a lot of upper body strength, we'll see the hips start to fall down. And again, we want to correct that. If that exercise is too difficult for you, we can do that on the wall. So from the wall, we're going to get into this position here. And we're going to basically try and mimic what we just did on the floor. We're going to come down and forward. And Kristen, maybe you can just come around to the side, come around right over here, and I'll show people how it looks from the side. So it's basically what we just did on the floor, except on the wall. And this should be easier if the push-up from your knees, if you find that difficult. And again, we're going to repeat that about 12 to 15 times. Okay? Next is an exercise called the bent over row. Okay, and I said you can do all of these exercises from home. They don't require you to purchase any expensive equipment. Okay? To start, the setup on this is very, very important. This is an exercise that we oftentimes really see very poor form. So I'm going to show you without any weight at all. So this is basically the position that we want to be in. I'm going to lift the weight with my right hand. My chest is up nice and tall, and my shoulder blades are back. And I'm going to maintain that position throughout. As I'm doing this, as I'm pulling up, I'm squeezing my shoulder blade behind me, and as I'm lowering the weight, I'm never letting my chest drop. So what I don't want to see you do is this. As I'm lowering the weight, I come too far, and the chest drops. We're going to keep our chest up and our shoulder blades back, like so, in this position. My neck's always in line with my spine. I'm not down here, and I'm not way up here. I'm definitely not looking to the side. Okay? So today we've just got a simple computer bag with us. If you want to make this easier or harder, you can add weight or take weight out. And we're going to start 12 to 15 times squeezing that shoulder blade. Great exercise for your back and your arms. Like so. 12 to 15 times. Take a short break. In the article, we tell you can take about a 30 to 60 second rest in between exercises. Going to get in the same position here, and like so. And as long as you're leaning on something that can support some of your weight, you shouldn't be supporting a lot of your weight, you're going to be fine. Now, if you're concerned about bending over, if that causes any lower back stress, I would hope that doesn't, because this is actually a pretty simple movement. But if it does, you go over to a wall where you're not leaning down as far and do the movement like so. Okay, again, and then you repeat on the other side. So that's called the bent over row, and a single arm bent over row. Okay? The last exercise we're going to do is for your abdominals, specifically for your abdominals, but it's actually a great exercise for your entire core, which are your abdominals, your obliques, and your lower back. And it's called a plank. So the version of this that we're going to show you is from your knees. So this exercise, you're going to get down on your elbows. Some of you may want to be on carpet or on a mat. Your elbows are going to be directly below your shoulders. You're going to come out as far as you can, and basically, you're going to hold this position. In the article, we suggest to start about 30 seconds. Your back should be nice and flat, your hips should not be dropping, your neck shouldn't be down or up too far. And we're going to hold that position for about 30 seconds. Like so. Then you're slowly going to come back and do that from there. Okay? If that exercise is too difficult for you, my experience tells me that most of you will be able to do that exercise. But if that is even too difficult, then again, we would go over to the wall and start there. You can either start from your elbows, or you can do it from your hands like so. And again, just hold that position. Okay? If you're not able to do that exercise from your knees, that's really going to show me that your abdominals are very weak, and that's going to probably be leading to some lower back problems. So I really want you to work on that right away. And that is what we call the greatest workout in the universe.